Hello and welcome to the Survey 123 Storm Structure Survey. You'll notice that I've already opened up the form. However, if you're unsure or if you've received any notifications from me to update the Storm Structure Survey, I'll have you back out by hitting that top left arrow, and then I'll have you go right into Download Surveys. Again, you hit the little hamburger button like that, Download Surveys. And then in here you can locate it, if you have to scroll through it, type up here, you say Storm Structure Survey, however you really want to handle that. And then you'll go ahead and tap that refresh button on the right. Once you tap it, it'll unpack, it's loaded to your phone, and you're ready to go. So we'll go ahead and open up that Storm Structure Survey one more time. You might not see all these options right away if this is your first time using the application. So what I'll do is go ahead and start by doing a collect. So follow along here and do a collect. You'll go into the project number, and so 000-000 for me. Just pay attention to any prompts in the question. So it's asking me to format it with the dashes and a full extent. So I want not only the number and that second set of digits and the phase. So then the project name, you'll go ahead and click on or enter that project name. So I'm going to name it test application. Pay attention to your spelling. For those of you that are using Android, depending on what versions you have, there is no autocorrect, so please be careful. For those using Apple, I think you're fortunate to have that autocorrect still available in Survey 123. The next question, city, so we'll put city test. Country, test, state, just list SD, and then you go ahead and choose your name. So I'm going to mark Frank. You can choose multiple if someone else is involved, but most of the time you'll just want to put one user. This does not require that you put in like the person who's going to shoot in the elevation data. Just purely if you're the inspector and you're the one recording this, just put your name. So the next question is going to be, oh man, do I have to really fill that out every time? The answer is no, really you don't. What you'll do is you'll go ahead and submit this survey as a draft. Don't hit send now, but instead hit send later. This should create an outbox for you. Here's my outbox. I'm going to reopen the survey here. I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. And then what I want to do is hit set as favorite answers. Again, the little hamburger button. I'm going to back out and hit close and lose changes. I'm going to back out one more time. I'm going to hit collect. Now you see it's blank. Now I'm going to fill it in. Again, paste answers. Not set, but paste. Okay. And I'm going to continue. Most of the times, unless a structure number is provided by an engineer, you don't need to enter this. Sometimes you'll be working from the other map where it'll load that structure number for you where there's existing data. And then you'll go ahead and mark the different portions that you want. It's important to choose your structure type, not only to let the engineer what it is that they're looking at, but also for classifying your data. Because when I come down here, it's going to give me different options. Where I have a drop inlet, it's going to provide a point elevation. Where I have a junction, like a manhole or a Sioux Falls box, it's going to provide me a rim elevation with the lid size. So it's very important to select the right structures. The next thing you're going to do, if you are with a surveyor, get that survey point name. If you're not, then don't worry about it, and the surveyor will go in and enter that in later. The date inspected, you'll go ahead and it's for the most part it's going to be automatically set to now. If you want to set it to a different time, you certainly can. Just choose the calendar function and the time function and go ahead and set those. So the next thing you'll do is you'll choose your location. By hitting this little target button, as you can see it's flashing, it's going to set it to my location. Now, for those of you who are first-time users, you might have seen a, do I want Survey 123 to access my location? In order for this to work, you have to go into your settings and allow the map to access your location. If you want to set it manually, you certainly can. You can search for a location. I want to search for Brookings, South Dakota. There we go. I have 5 results. I'm going to go ahead and choose just number 1, and I'm going to zoom in. So I like using this base map, but I'm out in the field and I want to set it as close as I can based off of some imagery. So I'm going to choose that base map. You see that? Highlight it, go to it, set it, you're good to go. I'm going to zoom in, just tap that plus button, and I'm going to say that there's something right here. Now again, this is for reference only and nothing more. You will tie this data inside of Civil 3D or AutoCAD, whatever it is, later on using that survey point name reference. So I'm going to hit good, condition. This is just a basic assessment. This isn't going to be the determination, and I'm sure the engineer is going to come up with their own assessment. So just go ahead and it's either new or poor for the most part. Good and fair is kind of relative. Comments, anything you want the engineer to know that isn't noticeable, or anything about the surface conditions, or in case any notes that they're specifically requesting. Point elevation, again, that would come from the surveyor or the point data, whoever it is that enters that in. Which corner are you measuring from? This is important for junction, or not junction boxes, but drop inlets and area inlets. You need to mark which corner you're going to measure from, and then in that case, choose the construction, your outflow direction, and then your depth. This is your floor depth, sometimes your center depth, but mostly your floor depth. And this would come then from your corner you're measuring from. So I would choose the northeast corner, measure down, enter that depth down to the floor. So we'll say it's like 3 feet. And then I'll go ahead and choose the each of the inverts. So if it's a floor depth of 6, you'll go ahead and just set 6. You're supposed to only measure down to the invert using that initial depth, because you were measuring from that corner, so it's going to assume that value. Then the pipe size, you'll go ahead and choose those for each one. So on the north, we'll go ahead and say that's concrete, and we'll say it's a 6-inch concrete pipe, and then mark completed. And the next step is to take a photo facing north and marking the photo as north. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a photo here of the screen. We'll just say this is the box. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a north arrow by just swiping up on it. Go ahead and hit done. Go ahead and hit submit. And now when I come in here, there's my photo for review. And then take any additional photos that you need to take, such as if the lid is bad or anything you want the engineers to make note of. And then the last thing is that you'll see a center invert, north invert elevation. Every time you add one of these, it gives you more options, okay? Once that elevation has been entered by the surveyor or whoever it is, maybe it's even you, I'm going to go ahead and put 1650. And then once I have accepted that, those values will then be calculated based off of your other depths. So now you have your invert elevations. When you're done, you're going to hit the check. If you have no cell phone service, you'll hit send later. If you have cell phone service, you'll hit send now. Okay. So, you know what? I'm realizing that when I sent that, there's some changes I want to make to it. Well, I don't know how I'm going to make changes. So what you do is you come back and you'll go ahead and review what's here. You'll see sent, inbox, and collect, okay? You might even see an outbox option. What you want to do is you want to go inside the inbox, not the sent. What this inbox does is it accesses the online data, but you have to download it to your phone first. So you'll hit the refresh button, Always hit the refresh button. Anytime you go into this, just hit the refresh button. Make a habit of it. That way you're not accidentally overwriting anything. So you access the list. I can type in my name. I can type in a project number. It's not going to show up in the title when I type my name, but I promise you the data is there. Even if you have a survey point number, you can access it that way. Just type in the number. Now you're not going to see it in the title, but it's inside the sheet. It refers to the data inside of that, so you'll be able to access it. If you don't like the idea of doing that, you just tap on map, and then you'll go ahead and tap on your location, or you'll zoom to the area. In this case, here's the one that we submitted, 000. It's showing the project name or number. I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. And look, there's our data again. Everything's still intact. You'll notice that sometimes the photos don't come in. If you're concerned about that, what you can do is just retake the photo, add another photo, and it'll just print out as a duplicate. Some other things to note, again, these are read-only. You won't be able to edit these fields down here. That's intended to keep the math good. And again, as you click on these, you get more options. There is no requirement to fill out all the data. When you're done, just hit the check, hit send now. That way it goes into the online database, back out, and then you're done.